2024 is finally coming to a close, packed with incredible highs and some seriously painful lows. As we close the chapter on another eventful year, I'm here to break down my list of the 5 worst moments in music. Starting off with number 5. Guys, if you don't already know, I got that bacon, egg, and cheese Timberland's deadass energy running through my veins, so you already know it pains me to put my city on this list. But we got a performance this year that was so disappointing, it made me not even want to look both ways before I cross the street. And I'm not talking about the Yankees in the World Series, I'm talking about Ice Spice's debut album, Y2K. If you already forgot this album existed, I don't blame you. For those of you that don't know, Y2K is slang for the time period between 1999 and 2000. Ice Spice was born in January 1st, 2000, making her a Y2K baby or Y2K girl. Does it carry any significance to this album overall? No, it doesn't. It's just there to look cool and let you know she knows some slang. So why is Y2K one of the worst moments of the year? Mainly because this is a prime example of what an album should not be, especially a debut album. There's only 10 songs on here, and each one is under 3 minutes. Although it does have some solid features, I don't think that this was the best way for her to pop out and do her thing. I know an album is mostly based on a collection of songs, but we already reached a point where many artists let out their creativity on a project and make it a memorable moment in their discography. Not saying everyone should take this approach when releasing an album, but those that do leave a lasting impact and much to talk about. Can I say the same for this album? Not really. It had no lasting impact whatsoever. And I'll never understand how people still consider a website like Pitchfork a trustworthy source. Their reviews still do that little point whatever system. I mean, you really telling me Chromacopia is on par with a project about shaking booty and farting? And I'm not saying Ice Spice is a bad artist by any means, I just believe this project was super lazy and it shows. For my number 4 moment, we got J. Cole's warning track on this project, Might Delete Later. I'm not putting it on here to trash on this track, but just this whole moment that went down because of it. The beef between J. Cole and Kendrick only lasted 2 days. If you were busy that weekend, you probably missed it. J. Cole dropped 7-Minute Drill, where he fired back at Kendrick after the release of Like That. And although it wasn't the craziest diss by any means, he was starting to cook. You know, he got the ball rolling in a way. And while we thought a rap civil war was upon us, not long after that, he got on stage and said this.
In my spirit of trying to get this music out, I moved in a way that I feel spiritually feel bad on me. Like when I listen to it and when it comes out and I see the talk, that shit don't sit right with my spirit. That shit make me feel, that shit disrupts my fucking peace.
Immediately, it seemed like everyone rolled their eyes in unison. Even Cole's fans were shocked by this news and couldn't believe the words coming out of this man's mouth. It's safe to say, he left everybody with blue balls that night. It honestly seemed weird at the time because the beef had barely even started, and J. Cole was already waving the white flag and calling for peace. Why even get in the studio and make the track in the first place? Cole said plenty of things on there, and now you expect me to believe he didn't really mean them? But turns out, according to him, he was peer pressured into doing it. The whole thing felt like watching someone throw a punch, then immediately apologize mid-swing. Could it be true? Yeah. Who would it be telling him to drop a response after Kendrick came at them like that? But the craziest part, J. Cole didn't just avoid the fight, he doubled down and deleted the track afterward. Unironically, he lived up to the title of the album in the most unexpected way. And Kendrick, he didn't need that to lift a finger. Cole managed to defeat himself in just minutes. In conclusion, a lot of fans were not happy. As for me, I wasn't a fan of his decision at first, but the reason I put this on the number 4 is because of what happened next. In hindsight, J. Cole might have actually saved himself from being annihilated by Kendrick Lamar. And looking back now, it takes a lot of courage to stand in front of thousands and admit you were wrong. It didn't hurt him much in the long run. His legacy is still intact. But I want to ask a question. Do you think he's still part of the Big 3 conversation moving forward? Let's move on to number 3. You know what's almost as bad as waiting for Cardi to drop? Waiting on my fellow New York native A$AP Rocky to stick to a release date. A$AP Rocky gave us 3 tracks this year, which started building anticipation for his upcoming album Don't Be Dumb, only to hit us with this curveball. The album's not dropping this year. First came the delay, and then the cancellation on everyone's pre-order. This one lands at number 3 on my list because as an A$AP Rocky fan, this letdown hits hard. But honestly, it's not just about Rocky, it's about the endless delays we see every year. Sure, some of them are understandable, but others, they make you seriously question the quality of what's coming. In Rocky's case, it seemed like the project fell victim to leaks, and let's be real, if you're an artist pouring your heart out into a carefully planned rollout, having your music leaked completely derails that vision. It's frustrating and makes sense why he'd want to put a stop to it, but there could be another reason too. Maybe Rocky wasn't feeling the reception to the songs he dropped and decided to head back to the drawing board. That's also understandable, but let's face it, we'll probably never get the full story. At the end of the day, fans are left waiting yet again. The anticipation keeps building, but it's hard not to wonder. I'm starting to think that Don't Be Dumb isn't the actual name of the album, but just a subliminal message to us who thinks he's dropping anything at all. Number 2. If there's one thing I dislike more than Pitchfork's pointless reviews, it has to be the Grammys. Let's be real, the Grammys are run by people who only tune into what's popping on the radio, and don't even get me started on how the truly deserving artists often don't even win. Now, let me be clear, I'm not trying to take anything away from last year's winners, but the Grammys are getting ridiculous. On top of that, so much music drops every year that completely flies under the radar. There are so many talented artists out there who don't get the proper spotlight they deserve, and when they do finally get noticed, they're slapped with the Best New Artist nomination, even though they've been grinding for years. I guess they're only new to the Academy and the casual listeners. Another example of why the Grammys are pretty ass has to do with The Weeknd. During his After Hours era, arguably the best of his career, he didn't receive a single nomination, not one. And then there's Travis Scott. Say what you want about him, but denying his talent and his ability to craft something distinct and groundbreaking every time is just absurd. This man gives us countless moments worthy of recognition, yet he's never won a Grammy. He'll probably win one eventually, but at this point, it's long overdue. Look, the Academy probably won't ever change, but I hope someday someone has their ear to the street and starts paying attention to the incredible talent that gets overlooked year after year. There are so many special artists out there that deserve their flowers. And now, moving on to the final one on this list, number 1. This has been a bad year for New York, and I mean, not a good look for us. And to top it all off, one of the biggest story we've got this year comes from another New York native. And well, for number 1 worst moment, we got P. Diddy. Man, I'ma say this, Diddy wasn't living in New York. In his mind, this man was living in Gotham. Everyone by now has probably already heard of the Diddler, but I can't believe we didn't see this sooner. I mean, the signs were right there.
This is top tier. Get out of the car!
Now, let me be clear, I'm not putting this at number 1 because I'm disappointed the Diddler got caught. It's up here because it's just a bad situation all around. I could have thrown this on the best moments list for certain reasons, but I think beside all the funny jokes and memes we got, a lot of the stuff that went down is very dark and serious. Let me say this, I never thought P. Diddy made good music in the first place. As far as I can remember, he's just been there. I mean, can you name 5 Diddy tracks off the top of your head? And if you can, then well, yeah, I think you'll... Yeah, I don't seem like he's coming home anytime soon. This has to be one of the biggest stories to come out this year. TMZ didn't just cover it, they went all in, dropping not 1, not 2, but 3 documentaries about him. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there are more on the way. From the shocking 1,000 bottles of baby oil to the infamous freak-offs and the endless stream of accusations coming in like fan mail every day, I've never seen someone this in my life. And the scariest part is the stuff we don't even know about, the things that happen behind closed doors. As of now, nothing has been proven, but let's not forget the video of him assaulting his former partner. If that isn't a red flag about what this man is capable of, then I don't know what is. This isn't just some scandal, this is a full-blown collapse of an empire he's built throughout his entire career. All in all, Diddy's a menace to society, hiding in plain sight, and somehow we all missed it. Even though the signs were there, the sheer scale of what he's being accused of is ridiculous. At this point, I don't even know what kind of lawyer could possibly dig him out of this mess. Week after week, it just seems to get worse for him. I genuinely feel for anyone who fell victim to his actions. If these accusations are true, it seems like justice might be served, but the biggest question on everyone's mind is, did he do it? What do you think? And that wraps up my list for the worst moments in music this year. Do you think I missed something, or do you have a moment that you think was even worse? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your takes. Remember, this list is just my opinion, and I'm sure yours might be different. And if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Don't forget to drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you want more content like this in the future. Until then, stay safe, enjoy the music, and I'll see you soon.